Challenge players to throw and catch as many passes as possible in this game we call Pass the Rock. Use a half court, then place cones along the three-point line. Here's how it looks. Divide the team into two groups, one in pennies. Send one to the paint and give them each a ball. Send the other group outside the three-point line without balls. On your call,
go!
The players inside the paint have 30 seconds to make and receive as many passes as they can, each worth 1 point. They can move around as much as they like, but they cannot leave the paint. When time is up, players swap roles and try to beat the previous high score.
How many you got? All right, we gotta win.
With so much action going on at once, players will need to concentrate and communicate. Passers should make eye contact with their target before sending the ball forward with both hands and stepping forward in their direction.
Good job. 1, 2, 3.
MOJO!
Players practice pivots and jump stops in this game we call diamond passing. Use a half-court size space, then use cones to make a diamond, with the fifth cone in the center. Here's how it looks. Place players in lines behind each of the 4 cones. The players standing in front get a ball. On your call, the first player in each line dribbles towards the center cone. Once they get there, they do a jump stop and pivot to their right. Then, they pass to the player at that cone and run to the end of that line. Set a 60-second timer and see how many rotations the team can complete before time is up. Here, we're looking for proper pivoting and jump stopping form. Remind players to bend their knees while they pivot so they can stay in ready position throughout the entire turn. When jump stopping, remember to land balanced on both feet to avoid being called for a travel in the actual game. Players practice pivoting and moving without the ball in this game we call passing tag. Use a half court. The space inside the three-point line is the playing area. Here's how it looks. Divide the group into 2 teams, runners and passers, wearing pennies. Make sure the runners outnumber the passers. On your call,
Ready, go. Pivot. Yeah, use your pivots. Good.
the runners start moving throughout the space as the passers try to lightly tag them with the ball. Once passers have the ball, they can only pivot. No dribbling allowed here. After they're tagged, runners are out and wait to play in the next round. Play until there are no runners left, then reassign roles and start again. Passers won't have long to make the tag after catching the ball. They'll have to quickly pivot.
Pivot, balance, girls, balance, balance.
Keeping one foot still and using the other to rotate around it. Pivoting is extremely important in the actual game. Once a player stops dribbling, they're only allowed to pass, shoot, or pivot. Any other steps, and they'll be called for a travel.
Bring it in, girls. Good job, good job, good job. 1, 2, 3. MOJO! Good job, girls.
Players move the ball around the court and into the basket in this game called circle passing. Use a half court, then use cones to make a rectangular space. Here's how it looks. One player starts under the basket with the ball. The rest of the group spreads out around the perimeter of the space. On your call,
Ready, go.
the player with the ball passes it to the teammate closest to them, who immediately passes it back. They repeat this process with every player standing around the space. When the last teammate passes them the ball back, they pivot and try to make a layup.
Rotate, girls, rotate, rotate.
Once they make a shot, players rotate, and the next player under the basket becomes the next passer. Put 30 seconds on the clock and challenge the group to score as many points as they can before time is up.
Let's go, hustle, Brooklyn, hustle, hustle, hustle. Good.
With time ticking, players might rush and forget proper passing form. Remind them to use both hands to push the ball toward the target, taking a step forward in that direction and following through with both arms. The player under the basket may forget to dribble when going for the layup. Remember, in the actual game, they're allowed to take 2 steps before a layup. Any more, and they'll be called for a travel.
Good, Issa. There you go, good finish. MOJO!
Players practice catching difficult passes in this game called basketball tennis. Use a half-court size space. Then use cones to create two 10 by 20 rectangles and divide each one in half. Here's how it looks. Divide the group in pairs and give each one a ball. Send a pair to each rectangle, or basketball tennis court. They stand one to a side, with the cones in the middle representing the net. On your call, pairs start passing the ball back and forth, as each player tries to get their opponent to drop the ball or miss it completely. If they do, the player that made that pass gets a point.
15 love, good.
Use tennis scoring and see who wins the game, set, and match. This game is all about developing passing skills. Getting the ball to land in challenging areas of the court helps players learn to aim their passes around defenders. In the actual game, not every pass is perfect, and players need to get comfortable securing difficult and uncontrolled passes. Just like that. Passing, communication, and coordination all braid together in this basketball classic called the weave. Use a full court. Here's how it looks. Place players in 3 lines at the baseline. The first player in the middle line gets a ball. On your call,
Go!
The player with the ball passes to the teammate on their right before running behind them and continuing up the court. The player on the right then passes to the player on the left and continues the pattern, creating a braid as they go. When the group reaches the opposite 3-point line, the player with the ball attempts a layup. Whomever grabs the rebound then restarts the weave in the other direction. After the layup, they get their own rebound and pass to the next player in the middle line who starts the next wave. Set a target, like 5 full-court weaves, and see how fast your team can reach its goal. Here, the ball should never touch the floor. Players cannot dribble and must grab the rebound before the ball hits the court. Players will never encounter a weave in the actual game, but the skills they use here will help them communicate and move as a team come game time. The hardwood meets the gridiron in this passing game we call Endzone. Use a half-court size space. Use cones to create a rectangular playing area, then mark 2 end zones on opposite sides. Here's how it looks. Divide the group into 2 teams of 3, 4, or 5 and give 1 pennies. One team starts on offense, the other on defense. On your call,
We're ready, go.
the team on offense starts bringing the ball up the field, court, and into the end zone. Once they receive the ball, they're only allowed to take 3 dribbles before they must pass to a teammate. If there's an interception, the defense becomes offense and heads in the other direction.
Good job, girls. Go red, coming the other way.
After the offense scores a touchdown for 1 point, teams swap roles and continue playing. Play for a few minutes, then give teams a chance to huddle and reset their strategy in the next round. This is a great opportunity for teammates to find and create space for one another, working together to send the ball to areas of the floor with fewer defenders and more opportunities.
1, 2, 3. MOJO!
Great passes lead to great shots in this small-sided game named after Michael Jordan's college basketball coach, Dean Smith. Use a half court. Here's how it looks. Divide players into teams of 3, 4, or 5 each. Play begins when the team on defense passes the ball to the team on offense, initiating a scrimmage with a twist. Players can only score off an assist. That means any shot must come right after a pass. To make it obvious, players must point to the teammate who passed to them and say, "Nice pass." A small-sided game is a kind of scrimmage focused on developing a specific skill or tactic.
Work on pick and rolls, work on passing, work on back doors. Nice pass.
Here, we're encouraging players to share the ball and create open shots. Some players might get blinded by the basket and only look to create their own shots. Remember, assisted shots are usually more open than unassisted ones. The more the ball moves, the better chance the team has to score.
Good, Brooklyn. Nice.
Players develop better passing accuracy in this game we call keep away. Use a half-court size space. Use cones to make 1 10 by 10 foot square for every 4 players on your team. Here, we're using 1. Here's how it looks. Send a defender and 3 offensive players to each square and give them a ball. The defender stands in the middle of the square. The other 3 stand one to a cone, leaving one corner free. On your call,
So ready? Go. Right, Sophia, move your feet.
the players on offense move around the edge of the square, passing the ball to one another without losing possession to the defender. They can only catch a pass while standing at a cone. When the defender intercepts the ball, they swap roles with whoever attempted the pass.
Good job.
If the defender doesn't get the ball within 30 seconds, swap roles and play again. In this game, there's always an open space for the offense to move to. This gets players in the habit of finding open real estate on the court. The further away you are from a defender, the more likely you are to score. Players go from offense to defense and back again in this game we call switch up. We're using a half court here, but this game works on a full court too. Use cones to create 2 rectangles and mark the halfway line on each one. Here's how it looks. Divide players into groups of 3 and send each group to a rectangle. Within each group, player 1 stands at one end, ready to receive a pass from player 2 standing in the middle with the ball. Player 3 stands at the other end of the rectangle as a passing target. On your call,
Go.
player 1 uses quick dribbling to try to get past player 2. Once they cross the halfway line, they can pass to player 3. Then player 1 switches to defend player 3, who tries to pass to player 2. Play short 1-minute rounds as players rotate from passer to defender to passing target. Basketball is a game of quick transitions. The offense should be ready to switch to defense at any time and vice versa. Encourage defenders to close out quickly,
Keep moving good. Close out.
sprinting towards the offensive player and getting low with their hand in the air.
3, 2, 1. Good job. Let's go. Bring it in.
Make it from one cone to the other without losing possession in this game we call cross the river. Use a half court. Then use cones to create 2 rectangles and mark the halfway line on each one. Here's how it looks. Divide players into groups of 3 and send each group to a rectangle. Within each group, player 1 starts at one end with the ball. Players 2 and 3 are defenders standing at the halfway line and the far end. On your call,
Ready? Go.
the ball handlers have to make it to the other side without the defenders deflecting or stealing the ball. If they make it across, the ball handler gets a point and plays again in the other direction.
20 seconds. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
If the defender gains possession, they get a point and swap roles with the ball handler. Play short rounds about a minute long. Ask players to keep score. Then swap roles and play again. Encourage players to change their speed and direction to get past defenders. In the actual game, this is one of the most effective ways to move around the court and keep the defense guessing.
Bring it in. MOJO on 3. 1, 2, 3. MOJO.